Hello, God's people. Welcome to today's edition of Insight with Ezekiel as we continue to make progress with the ongoing series, How to Stay on Fire. One of the ways we stay on fire is by constantly fanning the flame of our love for God. This is so important. As we study scripture, we realize that it is possible for an individual to deviate from his first love for God. We see this in scripture, particularly in the book of Revelation. When we get to chapter 2, Jesus had a message for the church at Ephesus, which also applies to us today. And after he had commended the church at Ephesus for getting certain things right, in verse 4 of Revelation chapter 2, Jesus said, the NLT translation puts it this way: I have this complaint against you. I have this complaint against you. It says, you no longer love me or yourselves like you did before, like you loved me at first. In other words, the KJV puts it this way, that you have left your first love. We see that it is possible for the believer, it is possible for an individual to deviate from his love for God. And that's why I said that one of the ways we stay on fire is by constantly fanning the flame of our love for God. It's possible that as we interact with the world, it's possible that as we try to achieve things, it's possible that as we transit from one stage of life to another, that somehow, sometimes it doesn't happen intentionally, it could happen mistakenly, that all of a sudden our love for God begins to grow cold, that all of a sudden our love for things begins to grow large and large and large. Our desire to get money, our desire to achieve certain things which are not wrong in themselves, then we must ensure that nothing replaces the place of God in our lives. It is our assignment to see to it that a day does not come when we love things more than we love God. It is our assignment to see to it that a day must not come when there are people in our lives that we hold in high esteem more than the place we put God in our lives. And this is done by constantly examining ourselves. This is done by constantly evaluating ourselves. This is done that when we evaluate ourselves and we realize that, oh, Ezekiel, your love for God is beginning to grow cold, we go to God in the place of prayer and we say, Father, help me. Father, help me. Father, help me. Father, help me. I'm realizing that my lust for things is increasing. I'm realizing that so and so is beginning to set in. Oh, Father, help me. This is so crucial that one of the ways we stay on fire is by constantly fanning the flames of our love for God, is by ensuring that we do not love things more than we love God, that we do not love, there is nothing we place in higher esteem than God in our lives. We do this by constantly fanning the flame of our love for God. You go to God in the place of prayer and you say, Father, I'm realizing that I'm beginning to have a negative obsession for this and this and that. I want you to be at the center of my life.